Hello. I'm hopping on this business page to see who is in here. Who do we got in here? Let me see if I can get you guys a little bit better lighting. There we go. Literally, I'm doing nothing else besides seeing who's here. Who's here? Who's in this page? The Accelerated Coaching Academy page, and what the H do you guys need from me? What do you need? All kinds of support, trainings, kind of support or trainings or help. Asking, do you need? Hello. Hello, hello. Okay. What do you need? What kind of support, trainings, ass kicking do you need? What brought you here to this ACA page? I know a lot of people are actually kind of confused, like, what do we actually have to offer? Like, what do we have going on for you guys? Oh, my earrings click on these headphones. Super loud. Okay, I'll put this in the chat right here. So basically what I'm just looking for is like, hey, what do you guys need on this page over here? I've been pretty busy on my other pages, and this page we really just use to connect with people, and a lot of cold leads, like cold people come in here that aren't really familiar with us. So I'm just hopping in on this page, give this page a little bit of attention and find out what you guys need from us. What do you need? Are you looking to build your coaching business? Are you just stepping into the entrepreneur world? Where are you feeling stuck? Where are you frustrated? What kind of support are you actively looking for? Even if it's not something we do, I can lead you guys in the right direction. We have so many awesome resources. So, hey, Andrea, I miss you. I'm actually here in Florida. We're purchasing a house right now, so downstairs in the lobby in case it gets a little bit loud. But yeah, thank you. Florida doesn't quite feel like home just yet. We're here in Sarasota, but it's still pretty awesome. The other thing that I know is I'm getting a lot of messages from people from this page asking just like, what is ACA? What do we do? That kind of stuff, which is obviously bad on my behalf for not being super clear about that. So for the people who don't know, Accelerated Coaching Academy is my online academy for entrepreneurs. Basically, we teach the basics and step-by-step on how to build your business or be seen or build a following, how to be heard, how to be seen, how to speak your message, how to get clear what your message is, all of those finer details in the business. But on top of that, the biggest thing, hey, Ellen, hi, back at you. The biggest thing on top of that is, 2 years ago, I was making $400 a week for over 10 years. That's all I knew. I was a waitress. I was a nanny. I was a mom. I was going to school full time. I was just trying to unfuck myself and trying to make a better life for myself and the kids. And I fell into this entrepreneur world and really sniffed out some things and, started learning how to shift how I thought. So the way I used to think before was a way that I always felt guilty. I always felt suffocated and trapped. I always felt like I was behind, like I was running this marathon, but I could never really catch up. Like I just couldn't catch up with everybody else. And I definitely felt depressed. I felt anxious all the time. I felt overwhelmed. I felt like there's some magical secret that I'm just not figuring out, that someone out there has the answers to. And like, I was willing to do the work. Like someone would just freaking teach me. I would show up and I would do it. And I knew myself. I was a hard worker. I always had big visions, big dreams. I always knew I could do it, but it was like, oh, just so much work, just like endless work and work and work. And it always felt like I was bouncing from one thing to the next. So finally I started to get wind of like, oh, the reason I can't outgrow this or expand it is just because of the way I think. And I learned that the way I was thinking was actually keeping me trapped. And so you learn like, how do these wealthy people, like this multimillionaire person next to me, like how do they think differently than me? How do they think about traveling or being away from their kids? Or how do they think about investments? How do they think about what to build your business? How do they think about using credit cards to begin your business? Or just like all those kind of things that I was curious in the beginning, right? So I started getting myself closer to them. I started recognize that like, oh, there's these wealthy people think differently than I do. Not that all of it's perfect, but it was really different. And they always seemed to have more fun and have more excitement and more shit going on in their life than me. And I enjoyed it. Yeah, Jackie, we love number 2 too. We'll see what happens. So that's what I jumped into. And basically, what I do in the Accelerated Coaching Academy is we get the basics and the simple, like technology, whatever stuff out of the way, because that stuff's easy to figure out. But for some people, it's super overwhelming. So we just break it down and make it super easy. But the biggest part we do is like actually shifting the mindset and the beliefs from, well, I'm just going to say it bluntly because that's what I do, from like poor and middle class kind of thinking and like all those thoughts that keep us stuck there, really shifting into like the wealthy mindset and freedom mindset and like ditching the guilt, ditching like the story that we're leaving people behind, or that shining really bright or being wildly successful is dangerous or bad in some way, or like how to handle the people around us when they're getting triggered by our success or us being visible and us being seen. What do we do when we have like old stories about ourselves that we're not worthy or we can't have all the things that we long for, and what do our longings even mean, and what happens when we're shitting our pants and we're too scared to do something, and like how do we outgrow those things, and how do we become the person it took in order to have this really incredible travel the world life. We don't have, you know no financial stress, no unless we're choosing it, because no matter at any money level you can choose that, right? How do we ditch the money stress? How do we stop working for someone else and being on their schedule, needing permission? How do we create our own schedule? How do we travel the world? How do we take a business that goes with us? All of these kind of things are a huge part of, all the pieces of what we do at ACA. So what I'm really curious about is, what do you need? What are you struggling with? Where are you feeling stuck? What other questions do you have about ACA? Our current offer right now, we have 2 spots left, and a lot of people are asking this. The May group is actually the entrepreneur, the wealthy, I don't even know, it's a new name. It's always the ACA May group, right? We just finished the ACA January group. The ACA May group is just starting. And really it's 12 weeks, and we've really seasoned this, right? So just like long story made super short for all the people that are asking, every single week, once a week, usually on Mondays, we're doing business building. So actual business building. We just finished how to create a powerful offer, and like get really clear what your offer is. Because if your offer sucks, then your energy's not going to be behind it and you're not going to make any money. So really having a powerful offer. The girls are freaking out about it. And then later on in the week, usually on a Wednesday, we do all the mindset shifting and like really starting to learn to think, and like having access to someone like me who's already gone through this and built a multi 6-figure business and come out on the other side of it. You get to learn to think how I think. And I went through all the phases that you're about to go through, all the guilt trips, all the stress. Oh, I think a baseball team's about to walk through. Like I already went through all those phases. So having access to that kind of thinking is really valuable, right? So we do that once a week too. And we do this for 12 weeks, steady the whole time. So as you're building the success moving forward in your business, your mindset is staying with it. And the vibe in these groups are super high, and like just staying like super motivated and like carrying each other and supporting each other through all of it. Like the fear of the money conversation, the overwhelm, doing a bunch of crap that you don't need to do. So that's the ACA May group. Prosperous Coach Masterclass is the new name of it, but it's the ACA May group. Those are 12 weeks long. We do have 2 spots open if you're interested in that. And then we have something really exciting coming up. So I'm not even going to tell you what it is yet. We have something super exciting coming up. The other thing that I do have is my personal mastermind. It's called the Diamond Mastermind. It's a year long. It's a lifestyle. It's less of like just a course. It's more a lifestyle. So like if you're looking to opt into getting around the other successful entrepreneurs, having personal access to me, really like us actually doing life together. We meet up 2-3 times a year. We just finished in Bali, an amazing retreat in Bali, 5-day. We had personal chefs and a villa. It was amazing. We do those kind of things. And then I do personal one-on-ones each week, 20-minute one-on-ones. Plus we have a group and the trainings in the group. You have access to my team in VA, all that kind of stuff. So that's on mandyperry.com. Yes, want to join, but like to know how this is an up level to January ACA. Oh yeah, it's just a completely different group, completely different thing. And Monday, we are starting the morning routine. So for you, Jackie, since you asked on here, and I love you, you like the discipline of showing up every single morning and being able to actually build that myelin and build that, like break through that neural pathway of like squirreling out and going all over the place, and actually like steady showing up every single morning, stepping into the only things that matter, building your business. So that every single morning we're re-clearing that slate, and we're actually just jumping back in like the only things that matter for your business. That's what we're doing every single morning. So we stay on track, because what happens is we get clear what we need to do, and then we do this and we veer off. And then if we don't have someone around us, we don't have support, then it's like we just keep veering off and veering. We're over here and we're wondering why our business doesn't work, instead of veering off, coming back, veering off, coming back, veering off, coming back. That's how we get, that's what we call it, the Accelerated Coaching Academy. That's how you get accelerated results. It's like actually staying focused on what's going to bring in the results for your business, versus what do I do so that people, like there's a lot of common fears, right? Like, what if I don't have the answers for what people say, or What will people think if I charge too much? What will people think if I offer support? They'll be like, who the hell are you to offer support? I don't know what my expertise is in. Like, how can I feel confident in what I'm doing if I haven't got results for people yet? I mean, it's just, the list is really, really long for all these things, right? And the whole point of doing this is like every single morning we're checking in, clearing the slate, and we're not doing all, even like we teach a lot of stuff in the group, but like it's up to you. Like you have to use discipline and know like, okay, those aren't the things that I'm doing. Like even though those are available for me later, we have so many trainings for you to be able to like go back to later when you're ready. They're available for you. It doesn't mean you have to do them. What we do is every single morning, we check back in on what's the one next power move that we're doing for our business and in our life, in our personal life, so that both are growing consistently, if that makes sense. So having that consistency every single morning is the thing that most people don't do. Everyone knows that they should probably journal. Everyone knows that they need to do mindset work. Everybody knows that need to come from a powerful place and make decisions from that place versus out of fear. But how many people actually do it? So one of the biggest things I've noticed is actually people need support implementing the basics. And that's how you get most powerful results, right? So that's the work. That's what we do, and it's a lifetime journey, right? Like you're not going to magically change 30 years of patterning in 12 weeks, but you're going to get a friggin' hell of a run and a hell of a head start, and you're going to start creating a new neural pathway for that. And that's a good foundation moving forward, right? So we're not going to pretend 12 weeks is some magical pill for like you're magically now this millionaire mindset, but it's one hell of a good start. And if you're needing support and boundaries and ass kicking, that's what it's for. Hey T, honestly loved ACHN, but got overwhelmed with technology. Yeah, a lot of people choose to do that because, like, why would we choose to do that? Why would we choose to be like, I'm going to squirrel out on all this technology? It's the perfect excuse to procrastinate from being seen. And that's the work we just keep staying in and keep doing. It's like nothing's a problem. It takes as long as it takes. But we got to do the work to actually confront, like, okay, I notice, I notice that I'm wanting to scroll out on this. What am I avoiding doing? What am I not wanting to step on? How come? Why? That is why we did it. So for the May group, I asked myself, how can I completely 10x this for everyone, including myself, even for me showing up for my girls, like 10x that, right? Because my job is to, like, the client comes first. Like, what's the most important thing the client needs? And that was doing the morning check-ins that we start on Monday. So that's what we'll be doing. Morning check-ins every single day on Monday, 12 weeks of business coaching plus mindset coaching. And the group is already on fire, getting amazing results. People are already booking out their entire month. We just barely began. Like, that's why we need the mindset stuff, because the success happens really fast. And then we need the mindset to stay up with it. Like, we just have to, because the way we think in the beginning, look, if we could already think like a successful entrepreneur, we would already be one, because it's easy to do things when you have the mindset to back it up. So we get the emotional state first, and the physical will follow every single time. But if emotionally we're all over the place and we're kind of frantic about it, then that's the way that's the physical stuff that will show up as well. So you'll notice that's like wherever you go, there you are, right? So that's what we're doing, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you're starting. And like a lot of people get stuck on this. Well, is it for new coaches or is it for seasoned coaches? That doesn't matter. It makes no difference, because it's the same work. Because for me, the same thing I need to do to scale from multi six figures to seven figures is the absolute fundamentals, is the basics. It's all it's like, how do you stay in shape, right? Like if I want to lose 40 pounds or if I want to lose 20 pounds, it's the same basics. I might just take it to a different level, but it's the basics that I'm doing over and over and over. And what happens is a lot of people who've had some success in their business, they're scared to scale. They're scared to hire out, to hire a team. They're scared to start releasing some of the control. Like for me, when I released enrollment calls and stuff, like that was something else. They're scared to release that control. They're scared to start running groups and putting themselves out there fully. Maybe they're afraid to change their message and really let their true message come through. Like it's the same fear. So in the beginning, we were afraid to be seen at all. Now we're afraid to be seen for a true deep message, or afraid to make it easy for ourselves. Those kind of things, right? We feel like it has to stay hard and complicated or all fall apart. And we get scared when things get too easy. We're like, oh my God, I don't like, what do I do with myself? It feels like this is too easy, so something bad's going to happen. That's such a common thing that people do. Make sense? Yes. Hey, Zenon, the kid I grew up with. Hey, Lauren and Kendra and Tammy. So if you guys have any questions, that's what this is for. I'm just hopping over on this business page to see who's here and what do y'all need. What are you stuck with? What are you feeling frustrated about? What do you have for questions about ACA? What do you have about questions about even becoming an entrepreneur? My heart is really starting to open up and like I'm wanting to help the people that don't even know how to get started. Like we have an offer that we're going to be putting out there that is like insane. I can't like this is mm, I can't even believe that this is going to be available like for everybody. This is accessible for every single person on the planet who wants to do it. But if you're just someone who's even curious about like what is this entrepreneur world and the whole nine, like let me know those questions as well. Or if you're a really seasons coach and you're like, okay, I have success in my business and I really want to learn how to freaking make this easy. Because you won't. You won't magically do it by yourself. I did the same thing and it was scary as hell when it started getting easy. I'm like, well, this is too easy. Something bad is definitely going to happen. And that was some real fear. Like, that's really how it felt. It really does feel that way when you're shifting into that place, especially if you're the kind of person who's been like the smartest one in the room. You always were doing the work. You were always pushing. You were always learning stuff, wondering why other people didn't want to learn it. You're kind of like, you have that $1,000,000 mind. You do, but like the money in the bank isn't reflecting what you're capable of. You know who you are, it's a little bit different, and yet your life isn't really reflecting the results of that, and it's frustrating as hell. And I get that. And that's what the next thing that I'm about to offer is coming up. I'm super excited. I'll be announcing it soon. Missed the beginning. What drew me to ACA? You speaking to my heart and calling me on my bullshit, right? How amazing is it to have someone call us on our bullshit? I know. I always need it too. I have my own mentors that call me on my bullshit. All right. Let me see if I missed any questions in here. If you're watching the replay of this, feel free to post any of your questions. I want to get to know this group in here. We got a few thousand people in here, and I don't have a pulse on where you guys are and what you're feeling, like what you're needing from me, so we can start creating some content, free stuff too. How do I tap into my true authentic self? Yeah, that is a powerful question, Tammy. So the way that we do it is by dealing with and actually being able to be clear on what the things are that the stories that we're making up that make it scary, right? So, one of my deepest messages that I would say was scary for me at first is like, I have a lot of people surrounding me, and what I went through as a kid was a lot of religious, like like scary religious suppressive stuff. I mean, when I was a kid, I used to have to watch, the end of the world and tribulation and the Christians who, were decapitated, and like that's what's going to happen if you get the mark of the beast, and like really just the scary stuff. So when I was moving through and I started recognizing like, hey, how come these people around me that are believing that way, they're not thriving? Like, how come they're not happy? And I started getting curious. I'm like, now as I am into my business, it's like I'm really just like I'm really honest about like I don't believe in the bullshit tactics that religion does to actually like scare the crap out of you. I don't think love is scary. I think that if you have to scare someone into something, it's not love, and it's crappy, and it's your just agenda to make yourself feel better, to make yourself feel worthy. That was really scary for me to say at first because I'm like, oh, people are going to be triggered. I'm going to lose my business. Da, da. But like in my heart, like if I'm looking at the world, like one of the things I want to change the most in the world is women who are scared to own their worth, and all the things that come with it, all the ways that other people suppress them to keep them down, knowingly or unknowingly. It doesn't matter. I don't care about any of that drama. All I care about is that the people out there, not just women, men too, but it's mostly women, right, who are heart-centered and have been through the ringer and come out on the other side, like for them to be able to actually bring their gifts to the world. What we have to do is work through the stories that keep us stuck believing that it's scary or that we'll get hurt when we step into that, because it's not true. Right? So Tammy, like whatever the story is that like, well, I want to do this, but I just want, what is it? Like, I just want to, right? And whatever the story is, it's also the excuse, right? It's also the excuse that we're using to not have to show up and step in. But sometimes not sometimes, we're not meant to do this alone. It's always hard for us to face those things that are scary or have the clarity around it by ourselves. That's why we have mentors. That's why we don't do it alone. Right? There's a reason why we don't do these things alone. I can't see what I can't see. You don't know what you don't know. And we need people to reflect it back to us. That's one of my favorite things about doing it in person, like the retreats that we do. We get to see so much of ourselves. And people are scared to let the ugly shit be seen. Like, who cares? We all got ugly shit. I got ugly shit. You got ugly shit. Like, why are we hiding it and pretending we don't? Like, your shit stinks. It does. And you're not going to know how to make your shit sparkle if you don't let it be seen, if you don't bring it into the light and let it be visible. As we start to do that stuff, we start really being able to see more of our true authentic self. We always know, you're completely perfectly clear who it is. You can't lose that. There's a part of you that's unscathed by anything that you've been through, and you can't lose the clarity on who you are. But what happens is we forget. It's like you forget. It's always there, but it's like it gets clouded with one thing after another. It just added on top of it. The insult, the the fear that someone's going to take me down with them, or someone's going to take advantage of me, or they're just trying to sell me stuff, and like all these fears that we have just sort of pile on top of us, and then it's like we can't even hear our real self anymore. So the work is to like really consistently let ourselves feel what we need to feel and get clear about what's going on there, and then being able to rewrite that story neurologically and emotionally. That's the work right there. That's how we tap into our true self, because you can't hear it and you can't tap into it when you're going Mach 90. When you're just like Mach 90ing through life, you can't hear it. I need to let my shit sparkle. Okay, that is the new hashtag of the day. My shit sparkles. Oh, that's the best, Tammy. Right? So this is the work. And by the way, have you not noticed that's the work that nobody does? We wonder why only 10% of entrepreneurs hit the multi six figure or six figures. It's only 10% of entrepreneurs hitting the multi six figures. That's insane. That's sad. It should not be that way. There's no way only 10% of entrepreneurs should be hitting six figures. Like something swole crazy. That's because what's happening is people are getting caught up in like, why am I not getting a result? Oh, let me figure out how to do this this funnel system. So I'm going to take a ClickFunnels. I'm not have nothing against ClickFunnels, but let me take this ClickFunnels training and do this quick webinar on like how to create funnels. And then I'm going to go implement that. And like, I don't even know what my message is because I'm not even clear about myself because I feel quite lost. And so I'm just going to like create some kind of message and I'm going to put it out there. And the whole time I'm stressed because I don't have clarity. And then I'm just expanding the chaos. So now I have lack of clarity, lack of self-confidence or knowing myself, right? Because I just threw myself into a bunch of do stuff instead of getting clear on the be, like who I am, what I'm doing, what is my purpose and my gift in this world, what excites me, what elevates me. Get really clear on that, bring our deepest message to the world, work through the fear that comes up through that, get more clear about what the stories are and rewrite those stories, and then scale that. What happens is people, they bypass that work, they just want to poo-poo that work and they go right into the do, and then it's like overwhelmed drama, like a bunch of like chaotic technology busy work crap that like doesn't get them anywhere, and even if it did they would be miserable, right? That's the way it usually looks. That's why free webinars are like right, like really big. That's where I want to be a six-figure coach. It's easy to be a six-figure coach, but what's required, right? Like I just did a post about this the other day. Someone asked me, and I know that's triggering to say, right? It's okay. I'm just going to tell the truth. I'm not going to sugarcoat it for anybody, right? The other day, like if this girl can do it, me, my crazy ass can do it, any friggin' body can do it. There's like anybody can do it. I proved that shit. There's nothing magical about me. I was a mess. Right? I'm just like a regular everyday girl who's like a nanny just trying to figure shit out and like started understanding the work that needed to be done. The other day, someone asked me like, hey, or I don't remember if I read it. Someone asked me, I heard it. I can't remember. Anyway, it came up like, well, if making six figures as an entrepreneur is so easy, how come everyone's not doing it? I was like, yeah, that's a great question. And my actual answer to that was because they don't have the balls to. It takes balls to invest in mentors, to believe in yourself, to actually do the work, to feel the feelings that you've been avoiding for a long time and like let them like get released and work through so you have more clarity and you're calming down and you're bringing your power foot forward. People are unwilling to do that work. They want to just skip that and pretend that they can do it by doing a bunch of busy work so they feel like I'm busy. I feel like I'm being successful, but I'm not addressing any of the real stuff. That's it. So either people are going to be willing to draw in support, do it together with other people and like invest in themselves and work through the money mindset stuff, or they're not. And they're going to keep telling themselves, I'll go do it by myself. I'll just keep, creating more stuff. I'll keep doing more stuff. And then they wonder why they're not getting it. Like if you could have figured it out by yourself, you would have done it already. Like, right? Like Einstein, we don't have to have lack of common sense in this. Like if you could have figured it out already by yourself, you would have. That's not a sales technique, although it's a brilliant one. I should use it. Like but it's just facts. What do you think magically will change in your mindset or your thinking that will magically make you show up differently tomorrow? That doesn't even make any sense. Now, Tammy, this is something that I have worked through personally. wanting something. I want this, right? When we want something, there's a difference between like, I want this, but it feels out of reach energetically, and I want this, I've decided it's mine, I'm doing what it takes to have it. And it's important to get clear where you're at. Because the whole I want this, but it's out of reach, it's going to stay that way. It's an internal shift. And what work do you have to do? I'm not saying I don't know which one you're at, right? But internally, we have to shift so that we feel it. We feel like I want this. So I've decided I'm having it, and I'm going to back that up with my actions. That makes sense? It's a big difference. And it's a different way of showing up. It's a different way of the whole nine, all of it. I want to find my block and move past it to be authentic and attract clients to serve them now. I feel ready. Yeah, girl. So, the way that we find the block is by actually taking action, right? So, when we take action, what happens is we'll find that, like, okay, this is the way I say it. We only do what our business requires us to do. So, if I'm actually like, okay, my goal is to have a 45K month this month, and I'm actively doing the things that, like, okay, like, what do I feel like doing? What feels creative? What am I inspired to do? And like, I'm actually doing the work. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I got stuck here. I got stuck. There was actually a block. So it's not actually a block if we're not taking the action. And I'm not saying you're not. I'm just like, this is a very common thing out there. It's something I've experienced, gone through myself. If you're not taking action, there's not actually a block. You're just not taking action. You haven't opted into the life yet. So when we start taking action, and then it's like, I'm too scared to go to like to do a live talk. I'm too afraid to go on a Facebook Live. Like whatever the specific thing is that you're afraid to do, then we start removing the block. And the block that you have for that is the block that shows up in every other area of your life as well. That same fear, whatever the fear is right there, is a fear that's going to drive you in other areas of your life. So what happens is your whole life starts to get better. All the areas start to, like, when you change, all the areas start to change and shift and up level. And that's what I say. It's like we kind of like scoop down and like take our whole level and bring it with us as we start to rise and have success and work through these blocks. Does that make sense? So it's just like, okay, this is the action I'm taking. This is the results that I got. This was where I got stuck. And then we do the work where we got stuck, right? This is most of the work that I do in my one-on-ones with my Diamond Mastermind clients. It's really just like, what is the thinking that's stuck? What's the mindset, the way I'm thinking that needs to be shifted so that I'm allowed to show up the way I truly feel called to show up? Because the way I'm thinking is getting me to a place where I'm stuck in this, right? So when I shift my mindset, I shift the way I see it and think like, oh, all of a sudden it's available for me again. I can keep going. Hey, Erin. Yep, that's me. Fear of doing Facebook Live. Yeah, right? We dig into that. Great. Okay. Everybody's afraid of doing Facebook Live, most people, right? And so the thing I teach my clients constantly is it about you or is it about the people you serve? It's like, no shame. Everyone, just like the number one fear in all of the world is public speaking. So it's like not something we beat ourselves up for, but we just get really clear. Like I teach the girls in the ACA groups, like the May group coming up. I think it's in 3 weeks. We get into the Facebook Lives and how to make it really easy and powerful and successful. So when you know what you're doing, you have a little more confidence behind it. But that's not the thing. The thing is like, what are we focusing on? So if you're giving time and attention to like, I'm going to look like an idiot, I'm not going to know what to say, I'm not going to have anything important to say, it's not going to make sense to people. They're going to wonder why I'm doing this. They're going to ask me questions. I'm not going to have answers. Like that's, well, great. You're going to be terrified. Of course, you're not going to move forward into a Facebook Live when we're thinking about those things. This is the mindset work. When we have the discipline enough to shift our thinking into like, okay, this is my ideal client. She's stuck. She's frustrated. She's struggling. She's scared. She doesn't know where to start. She feels like this isn't available for her. She feels like she has nothing important to say. Okay, I know what it feels like to be her, and I'm just going to pop on. I'm going to love on her. I'm going to say, I'm going to trust whatever comes up in the message. I'm going to talk to one of those pain points, and we focus on her. We focus on our ideal client, her, him, whoever. We focus on their pain, the pain and the need in the world, and we're filling a need in the world, and we get off of ourselves. All of a sudden, it's not so scary. But that's not normal. It's not normal for people to just be able to shift into serving that way. It's not, our culture doesn't design it to be that way for us. That's work we have to do. That's a discipline that we develop by actually focusing on it until the neural pathway can start to shift and we build that new one and we build some myelin around it so it gets faster and harder. So the reaction to the feeling starts to change. So the reaction is to actually show up and love on them versus to hide because we made it about us and got scared, right? I say it all the time. It's like one of the things we do is we scare the shit out of ourselves a lot. It's a weird habit that people have, scaring the shit out of themselves. I'm not really sure why we choose to do it. It's just human nature. We just do it. That's what we do, right? So the way we scare the shit out of ourselves about Facebook Live is thinking about all the horrible things and how horrible it will feel. But the truth is, like when people ask me something on a Facebook Live and I don't know the answer, I say I don't know, and it's not horrible, and it doesn't feel scary, and it doesn't matter. None of it mattered. And if I get on and I say a bunch of stupid crap and I get off and I'm like, oh, that was stupid. Who cares? Did you care? All the Facebook Lives and I sound like an idiot. Did you care? Nobody cared. It's just not that big of a deal. It's not that significant. Nobody cares that. I mean, we'd be lucky for people to care that much. I'd be so lucky for people to be so stuck on every word that I say. I mean, that's just, you can create massive change and healing in the world coming to that level. We'd be so lucky. That's not how it is, right? We get to just stumble through it and be ourselves, and none of it matters. You'll fuck it all up and it won't have mattered. Like, just didn't matter. Nobody cared, nobody noticed. But the times when you resonate with them and you're speaking to their soul, that's when they notice, and that's when they want to get closer to you, right? Like, people want to be around my energy because I am like, who cares what people think? Let's just have fun and move forward and let's heal the world and create purpose and passion, and people like that, right? And like, I can own that. I'm like, great, that's the energy I bring to the table. And that's a natural part of me. I don't have to force myself to do that. And so getting really clear, like, what's the natural part of you? What's the presence that you bring? What's the energy you bring? So if you're sitting there thinking about yourself and how it's all going to go wrong and I'm going to sound stupid, that's the energy you're bringing to the table. And then we wonder why people aren't like magnetized to our stuff. But that's why, because you can't fake the energy that you bring to the table. That's just real. It's based off of what you're really feeling and thinking. Just like we said, oh, I want this, but it's far away. It feels unrealistic. Or I want this. I'm determined. I'm deciding. So I'm going to show up and I'm back that up with my action. Two completely different energies, and people will sense that a mile away. But we have to develop the discipline to show up that way and to create that kind of energy in our life, and to believe in ourselves and back ourselves up and step into our dreams both feet, because life is rigged for the bold. And the bold and the ballsy people who have the balls to do this and step in and get support and choose this life, they're going to get it. You will get it. Period. End of story. I don't care. If you have the attitude that I'm going to do this until, you will have it. That's it. You're not the magical only person in the world who won't get to have that when you actually show up that way, right? The reason why it doesn't happen for so many entrepreneurs is because they allow it to be I want, that's outside of themselves, or that feels like it's something they can't have. And then they use the things that come up as an excuse to not to procrastinate. Procrastination is totally normal, right? But if you allow that to continue to happen, then you're going to look for excuses that back that up for you. Why can't you have this multi six figure, travel the world, seven figure, like make your own schedule, heal people all over the world, have like make new friendships constantly, be able to gallivant all over the world and work with your husband, your brother, your family, take care of your kids, buy a new home for your kids, your dream home, move somewhere tropical? Why can't you have that? Because whatever just came up is complete bullshit. You can have it. My husband had a job that was linked to Rhode Island. I mean, like, forever, there's no way that I would have, like, you could have told me 2 years ago, like, oh, yeah, that'll all happen. I had to do the work to keep coming back to the place of believing in this for myself, and choosing, like, no, I decided, so I get to have this. So whatever hard stuff, whatever tough conversations, whatever feelings I need to allow to come through, whatever it took, whatever it took, whatever it takes. I know my business can be a multi seven figure, maybe even 8 figure. I'm playing. My goal is to get my brain wrapped around a billionaire. I'm like a 8 figure business, and like what that's going to look like and what does that mean and what kind of impact can I make in the world. But I'm multi seven is done. It's already done. Like I already know it's done. Like it's not even a question in my mind. I'm 100% clear that I'm going to do the work that it takes to get there. I do it until I will reach that many people. I will help support that many entrepreneurs to hit multiple six figures. But that took work for me to get there, because quite frankly, how I believed before was I was a white trash girl. That's what I believed. Like, I was a nothing. I was the stupid blonde girl who came from nothing and was nothing, and people could take advantage of me and discard me as they wanted. And that was my experience in life. In the military, when I was a kid, it happened my whole life. Then I was cheated on. Like, it just happened my whole life. Oh, you don't want to pay child support, so you don't, right? Now I have my husband who treats me like gold, and that was work. All of it was work. But I could have just played that card like, oh, poor me. Look at all the abuse I went through, and I was on food stamps, and I was the nobody girl, and people always treated me like I was stupid and treated me like crap and took advantage of me, molested me, whatever they did. I could have played those cards. It can't happen for me. It's not in the cards for me. I'm not lucky like those other people. It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. It is. And a part of you knows that. There's a part of you that completely already knows that. Right? So the truth is, you get to have the longings that you have, because the place where that longing is coming from is the same place that those creative ideas are coming from that you're ignoring and you're not stepping into because you're using excuses. and procrastination, and it's too scary and it's too hard. And I get it. It can be scary and hard. And it's scary and hard to not do it. So whatever. At least on the other side of doing these things, you're getting all the things that you want. It's scary and hard, but you get the life that you want. And it gets easier and it gets less scary. And every time you step in and every time you allow yourself to feel and every time you make an investment and you watch it work out, every time you back yourself up and then you build more of that self-confidence, it gets easier and easier until the place where you're like, oh my God, this is so easy. It's scary. And then you work through those. That's just what it is. That's how it goes. Does this make sense to you guys? You understand what I'm saying, right? So the first step is really just acknowledging, like, okay, I do have beliefs that are going on that limit me, that make me feel like I can't have that. So the way I'm thinking is contributing to the results that I have or the lack of results that I have. And so shifting my thinking into coming from a place where I know I can have this and that that's available for me is this, that's the first step, right? I teach this in my girls when I teach sales and marketing, right? First, they have to believe that it's possible at all, right? So you guys, anybody here that's been tracking me for at all, like you've watched me do it, so you know it's possible. Like on the planet, it's possible. And there's a billion other people, right, who have found success in their life. The second step is that you have to believe it's possible for you. And so if you don't believe it's possible for you, that's the number one word. Nothing else matters. So like if you're out making coupons or working working on sales copy, excuse me, getting to the bottom where all the protein is. If you're working on sales copy or websites or photos or funnel systems or whatever, email projects and color schemes and whatever other dumb shit that everybody gets focused on in the beginning, and you still don't even believe it's possible for you, you're doing everything ass backwards, right? First, we got to get to the place of like, well, what is it going to take for you to truly get to the place where energetically you're like, I want this, therefore I've decided, and I will back this up. I will back it up, meaning I will put my money where my mouth is. I will take that boat over to the island. I will burn the ship and I'll be there like, okay, we're learning how to live at this island now because I just burned the boat. Like we make it so that it's like, I've made this decision and now I can't get out of it. Now I'm required to show up because you know you're the kind of person, right? You're the kind of person who shows up. Like when shit hits the fan, who takes care of it? You wouldn't be attracted to me if you weren't the kind of person who takes care of shit. Like you're the kind of person that handles the shit. You've taken care of yourself. You've gotten yourself this far and you got yourself this far so you could get to the next level. And that's what it is. And what it looks like is actually making the decision to be all in. And that's in every area of your life. Same with marriage, right? Like I was terrified to get married. That's what it is. I'm not proud of it, but I was terrified to get married. It took me a long time to get to the place where I was married. I've been with my husband 12 years and it took me 10 to 12 to get married. That's just what it is. I was scared. I didn't know how to get myself through the place of scared and to be like, no, I'm all in this marriage. So like whatever it looks like, whatever craziness happens, like I will do whatever it takes to figure it out and have a loving, happy marriage. And once I got to that place and I could own that and I could be solid there, all of a sudden I got married. And all of a sudden my relationship got better and better and better because I decided that's what it was going to be. And I started looking at the marriage like it was a good marriage. Just like we look at the business like it's a successful, 100K a month business. What am I doing today? I'm owning that and showing up that way. And energetically I pull it in. Physically it ends up happening. But if we're stuck in the fear patterns and what if, and I can't, and it's hard, and blah, 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 and we're trying to prove something to someone, then we're not on task with that next power step that we're making for our business. Then we're not getting the results of the power steps. And that just makes sense. Even, non-energetically, that makes sense. Even just physically, like, of course, if I don't believe it's going to happen, then I'm not going to go all in whatever I do. And if I don't go all in, I'm not going to get the result. And then I tell myself, see, I was right. I couldn't do this. Get to be right. And you get to play small. And you get to keep spinning the patterns that you've been spinning your whole life, or that were, shit happened when we were a kid and we started making up stories and now we still use those same stories and a 6-year-old runs our business or runs our life. That's unfortunately the way a lot of people live, and they live that way indefinitely. And there's the rare person who will opt into this and hear this loud and clear and be like, fuck that, I'm in, all in, I'm opting into this, I want this, so I'm deciding and I'm backing it up. And that's what it is, right? And that's why I don't do enrollment calls anymore. My husband does the calls for our business now, but the reason I don't anymore is because I expect the people I work with can bring themselves to that point. You're deciding on your own. Like for my mastermind, like there's no enrollment calls, there's no nothing. You can reach out and PM me and I'm happy to have a conversation. You would give you more like details of what it is. But I am here for women or for people who are deciding, like, no, I'm in no matter what. I love your energy, Mandy. I want that. I'm in. Let's do this. Like, I don't care what it costs. I don't care what it is. Like, all I know is I want this. I'm in. I'm going to do the work. So I trust myself. So none of it matters. I know I can just do this first investment and I'll create the rest and create the rest. I'll 10x this. I'll utilize every moment of it. I'll 10x it and I'll crush it. Like, they need to be able to trust that in themselves, right? And even if it comes in and out, you weave in and out, everybody does that. You trust yourself and you forget for a second, you come back, but you got to be able to get yourself to that place. I'm not doing it for you. I'm not energetically doing it for you. I'm not physically doing it for you. You are the one who has to show up and do that work and get yourself to the place where you make a decision. Because that's an internal thing, right? Tony Robbins, you haven't make a decision if you hadn't taken action. And that's just real. That's the way it is, right? So if you feel like you're stuck in a place or needing support, let us know, because I'm creating a whole bunch of trainings coming up, and we do have an entry level offer for any entrepreneur in any level that I'm super excited about. And then we also have the May group that there's 2 spots left where we're doing that business building and the mindset training. So if you need that, if you're interested in that, just shoot me a PM and me and my team will get back to you. And if you're actually looking for the lifestyle, the opting into the entrepreneur lifestyle, being around all the other women who are doing this for lifetime, and they've already made the decision. I'm into making this work. It is what it is. It doesn't, with or without Mandy, who gives a crap. I'm doing this. I just want to do it with other people and do it smart and do it well. Then that's the Diamond Mastermind. So that's on mandyperry.com. You can fill out an application there, and that's it. So we're happy to help you guys. I really, 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 my heart's longing and desire is to help you to know that you can have this, that this is for you, that this having a multi 6-figure business is not complicated and hard, right? It's just not. The only thing it is a lot of the work that everyone else ignores. If you're willing to be the person to step in and do that work, this is yours. It's yours for the taking. That's it. Period. End of story. There's nothing else to it. There's no other drama, excuses, complications. That's what it is. Okay, guys, I don't see any more questions. Have a great day. I love you. Thank you for all the love and support that you guys sent about the new house that we're picking out today. And let me know what you guys need so we can create that for you guys. All right. Love you.